The first card you have for your past is the Six of Cups. So yeah, the Six of Cups can be about, reunions, families, memories, things like that, going back to your childhood, all of that kind of thing. I am seeing some memories in this card, and I'm seeing I'm sort of getting this feeling of missing out on something, and maybe this kind of feeling of being on the outside looking in, something like that. So, it could be that you've moved away from where you were originally from, because I'm just seeing some people organising something or talking about an event or something like that, and you weren't involved in this event. You weren't involved in the organising or anything to do with it, but you might have been watching people, sorry about that. You might have been watching people talking about it or planning it, maybe on social media or something like that. But you weren't a part of it. You're kind of just watching this happen. And I think part of you might have wanted to be involved just because you kind of had this really strange feeling about being on the outside when you're kind of watching all of this planning. And I think this was about family. So I think you might, it might have been that you physically moved away from your family, or it might just be that you've distanced yourself in some way from these family members. And I think that was just a part of you kind of trying to adjust to this distance, whatever it was, whether it was physical or whether it was just a distance in your emotions in your head, or whether it was both. So yeah, I think this was just a process that you were going through, and I think that, I think if you did go back to these people, you probably wouldn't fit in as you were, because I think you've changed so much, since you've separated from these people. And I don't think I think if you went back, you'd be fine. I think you'd get along and whatever, and you do all the normal things, but you would feel a little bit kind of distance, a little bit like you don't quite fit in. But I think that's okay. I think, I think you've changed, and I think that's a good thing. And I think they've changed. Some people over there have changed, and that's a good thing as well. And I think you're just adjusting to this change. But, I don't think you're kind of fallen out with all of these people. I just think there's a distance, and you're kind of thinking, I'd like to be a part of all this, but then I kind of don't. So it was kind of a very odd feeling. That's just what I'm getting. It's really hard for me to articulate. I hope it makes sense to you. The next card you have for your past is the Nine of Swords. Yes. So, you have been through a lot of changes, a lot of adjustments over the last few years, definitely. And I'm seeing someone who you really did care about, and I think you did care about this person for a few years, actually for many years. I think this person might have been in and out of your life a few times maybe, but I think they've always been there. I think even when they weren't physically around you, I think they were there kind of in other ways. I think you're either thinking about them on and off, sometimes not 24 hours a day, sometimes more, sometimes less. But I think maybe some people around you might talk about them and then you'd remember them again, that kind of thing. And I'm getting this, I don't know if this is going to make sense, but I'm getting this feeling of expectations, or kind of imagined expectations. I think you might have been maybe imagining that this person was expecting certain things of you when you're with them. And I am seeing a love connection. I think this is what this was. And I think, you tried to live up to these kind of expectations, and you couldn't quite do that because, of course, you're human. And I think the expectations were really too high for you. But I don't think this person really wanted you to live up to these kind of expectations. I think a lot of these were imagined. I think you were kind of imagining that they were expecting all these things of you. And I think you might have to rethink that, because I think you still might have that idea in your head that I could never live up to what they wanted. They expected this perfect person who looked perfect, had a perfect job, acted amazing, and this and that and the other. And I don't think that's what they really did feel. I think that was something that you kind of imagined, and I think you put a lot of pressure on yourself. And I think that might have been one of the reasons why you separated, because you kind of felt this great big expectation and this pressure. I mean, I think there are probably other reasons. But, I think this person was thinking about you. I think they were missing you, actually. They weren't missing this imagined person that you had in your mind. They were missing a real person. They were missing you. And they just missed talking to you about everyday things. They didn't miss this great big imagined thing. They missed you, the real you. So I just think, if this is all resonating with you and you are thinking of reaching out to this person, I think you should do it. I mean, if you really do think that you want to reach out to them and you're thinking about them, just do that. I think you really should, because I think it's going to feel awkward in the beginning when you do contact them. Of course it's going to be. And but I'm just getting the feeling that they miss talking to you. I don't think they're expecting any amazing thing. They weren't expecting any things for you. They weren't expecting you to be this amazing thing that you're imagining. They just want you to be yourself. That's what I'm getting. And I don't know how you got this kind of mixed up idea. Maybe they said something and it kind of made you imagine something else. I don't know. But I think a lot of what you were imagining they were expecting of you was in your head. That's what I'm seeing. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but that's just what I'm seeing in that. So the last card you have, your past, is the Sun. I think if you reach out to this person, I think, there are going to be things that you'll have to talk about. You'll have to work through some things. But I think eventually you'll be able to break through this barrier, like the child on this horse has broken through this wall behind it. I'm actually seeing some really nice, easygoing conversations happening between you. I'm not seeing any awkwardness at all. I think there will be some, of course, before you kind of get this breakthrough. But then you're going to feel fine. You're going to feel very free, very easy. And I think you're going to come to realize, if you do contact them and this all happens, that they didn't have these great big expectations of you. So again, if you're thinking of reaching out to this person, you probably should. I'm also getting the feeling that they might be a bit confused over what actually happened between you, especially in the end. I think, there are a lot of things that might have been left unsaid, actually, and I think they're probably still wondering about some of these things. But I think they might be leaving it up to you. And I don't know if you were the one. Okay, I'll just tell you what I'm seeing. You might have been the last person to talk to them. And I think this was a text message. And I think that I'm just seeing someone, and I don't think it's you. I'm just seeing someone looking at this short message on a phone, and they keep on looking at that short message and they keep on thinking about it. But it wasn't them that left the last message. I think it was you. And I think maybe what's happening is you're thinking, well, I left the last message and they've ghosted me, or they're not talking to me, and I'm not going to reply to them again because I left the last message. So you might be thinking something like that. But they might be thinking they left a message and they might have asked you something. They might have been feeling very insecure about the relationship, about what was going on. So then they texted you something like, what's really going on? Is everything okay? You're acting really strange. Can you please tell me what's going on? And then you might have left a message that was kind of a bit, that sounded a little bit uncaring. And then they might have said, or more than a little bit actually, it might have been, oh, I'm busy, or, well, I'll talk to you, I can't talk now, or, oh, well, I'm doing this, what do you want? Or it might be something like that. Kind of sounding like you're putting them off. And then they might have taken that as, well, that answers my question. You're not interested in me. You don't care. And so they just left it. That's the kind of thing. Obviously, it's not going to be exactly what I've said, but that's the kind of thing I'm seeing. And that's why I think they're feeling really up in the air about all of this. And they're waiting for you to contact them. And I don't know if they probably think that you won't or whatever, but I think they thought that you were the one who should contact them, and they're not going to contact you, but they're still feeling very up in the air about how this all finished, and they're still a bit unsure about what was going on. That's what I'm seeing. I hope that makes sense. The first card you have for your present is the Ace of Swords. So this is relating to what I was seeing in the Six of Cups. I think, because I'm seeing this before and after. I think you might have lived one sort of life, and then there was some big change or some big shift, and then I think everything just changed and your whole life changed. So maybe you physically moved away from somewhere, which is what I was seeing in the Six of Cups maybe, or you might have had a big career change, you might have moved, you might have, I don't know, it might have been a big thing, like you might have lost a lot of weight, or you might have really changed your appearance, some big thing like that really changed your life. And I think, you wanted this change, you wanted everything to be new, fresh, different, you really wanted to start a whole new life, and you did change a lot. I think you're a whole new person now, actually, almost. It's almost like that. That's the feeling I'm getting from this. And I think you also cut a lot of old things out that weren't serving you. But I think there was something from your old life that maybe you should think about revisiting. I think this might be something creative, and I think it might be something you started but then you abandoned, you kind of left it behind and thought, I'm not going to do that again. I think this is something like a book. It's definitely something creative, I'm seeing that, and I think it might be something that you're writing maybe, a writing project, a book you're writing. I'm not saying that you should pick this up as you left it and continue on exactly as it was, because you've changed. But I think that it's worth looking at again, and I think you could pick up what you've done, make a lot of changes, because you've changed, and you're going to make changes that are going to relate to what you've related to since you've started that, if this all makes sense. I know that doesn't make sense, but I think you know what I mean. So start this again. I think it's really worth doing. And I think, again, all these changes that you've made in your life, these new experiences that you've had, are going to mold this in a new way and shape this in a new way. And I think it's going to be even better than when you originally were doing this. So I think you should start this up again. If this resonates and you know what this is, start this creative writing or whatever this thing is again. So the next card you have for your past is for your present is the Five of Cups. So again, this person's missing you. They're missing you. I don't think they're in despair like the man on this card, but I think they probably were at one time. I think when you first separated, they were very upset. And I don't think they wanted you to know this. I think they might have been hiding this from you, like this, the way this man's hiding under his cloak. So you might not have heard from them. I don't think you have. You might not have even seen them since the separation. I don't think you have either. And I think this person's good at pretending things are fine, actually. But again, look at this. There's a bridge in this card, and it's not broken, it's not burned or anything, and it's leading to a home, it's leading to a castle. So this is showing me that you probably felt really at home with this person, and they felt really at home with you. So when things were going well, things were going really well. That's what I'm seeing. So again, if you feel like, if you're wondering, if you're saying to yourself, should I reach out to this person? Should I speak to them? What will happen? Will they reject me? What will happen? This is telling me that they want you to do that. So I would reach out to them if that's what you were kind of wondering. And I'm seeing that all through this reading. The last card you have, your present, is the Eight of Cups, yes. So I know I'm sounding repetitive, but I keep on seeing the same thing over and over again, this situation. Obviously, someone walked away, there was a separation. Again, I think there will be some kind of contact, whether you will contact them, they'll contact you, or if you just meet by chance somewhere, you're going to be in contact again. That's what I'm seeing. Because when I look at this card, sometimes I see this man walking away. Obviously, that's what he's doing. But then I see him walking away, and there's a big hill, and I see him walking around this hill and coming back around again. So, yeah, you'll be in contact. Somehow, someway, you're going to be in contact with this person again. That's what I'm seeing. And again, there's some ambiguity around this for them. I think they're still kind of questioning what's happened. I wonder what happened. Did they find someone else? Did this? Did that? Did they want to ghost me? Were they angry with me? They were looking for an excuse to get rid of me. All of these things were going through their head, and they still are a little bit now. Less than they were, but it's still all there in their heads. And yeah, this is a dark scene. It's happening at night. The moon's out. So I think that either you or they moved away, and I think it was probably you leaving things sort of up in the air. And there's been no resolution. That's what I'm seeing. So even if you don't want to get back together with them, I think giving them some kind of resolution as to what exactly happened. Honestly, you need to be honest about that. That will help them, even if you don't get back together. So the first card you have for your future is the Five of Swords. So yeah, obviously this is a horrible card, a greedy card. This man's greedy in this card. You know, he has his own sword already. Everyone has one sword. All the soldiers have all their own. They have one sword each. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know what's wrong with me today. So yeah, each soldier has one sword. Sorry about that. So this soldier's already holding 3 swords, and then he wants to take the other 2 of the other soldiers away as well. So he's very, very greedy. He doesn't need any of them. He just needs 1. He doesn't need 3, and then, you know, he wants 5, so he doesn't need 5 either. So, you know, this is reminding me of people who are very, very greedy, and they want a lot more than they actually need. I mean, there's nothing wrong with wanting nice things. There's nothing wrong with wanting a nice big house or things or whatever, clothes or this or that. But if you want more than you actually need, and somebody else is in need, that's kind of greedy. And so that's what I'm seeing in that man. Now, I actually think you might be owed something. And I think this could be a work situation. I think you might be getting... Yeah, I think you might not be getting everything that you should be getting financially. I think someone's holding on to something that's either owed to you or something might have been promised to you. And this might be a pay rise, it might be a bonus, might be something like that. You're definitely owed something. And I think someone might be either pretending that they've forgotten that they've promised you this, or things might be a little bit awkward and you might be feeling as if you need to approach them, but you can't. But don't walk away from this, because look at these 2 men walking away. I think this is telling you not to be like these 2 men. Try to find some way of collecting what's owed to you, whether you have to speak up and speak to them, whether you need to go through someone else to be able to do that. You might even have to go through a legal a way to do that, do something legally. I don't think you'll have to go that far, but whatever you have to do, please look into this, because I'm getting a really strong feeling that someone's getting away with something, or they're trying to get away with something. And, you know, this is yours. This is owed to you. This is yours. So please take what's yours. You're not being greedy by taking what's yours. They're being greedy by taking what's yours. And they're not giving it to you. That's what I'm seeing. So the next card you have for your future is the 3 of Pentacles. So yes, I think this is happening in either the workplace or something around work, or it could be something contractual. It could be freelance work that you've done or something like that, and someone owes you for that. Or it might be someone hasn't paid you for something, or maybe someone owes you money. So if this is resonating with you and you've just let this go and you thought, oh, I'm not going to get any result from that, I couldn't be bothered chasing it up, I'm just going to leave it. I don't think you should do that. That's what I'm seeing in this card. You shouldn't do that, because I think this could have happened to other people as well. So, you won't just be standing up for yourself, you'll be standing up for other people as well. Maybe even people who might be a little bit weaker than you or less able to stand up for themselves. It might be that. So I know that's a very specific message, but I think someone needs to hear this. Someone's getting away with things that they shouldn't be getting away with, and I think you're going to have to be the one to stand up and get that. That's what all of this is telling me. So the last card you have for your future is Death. So I think that, again, I think if you do come back into contact with this love connection, this person in the Nine of Swords, of course you're going to have to talk about things. Of course you're going to have difficult things you're going to have to talk about. You're going to have these big conversations. They're not going to be easy. You're going to have to clear everything away to make sure that you both understand what happened in the past and you both know exactly where you stand. But then after you've had those conversations, if you do decide to get back together again, you're going to have to put them behind you. Once you've had those conversations and you're both happy with how things stand, don't go back and revisit it all over again. Don't start an argument and say, oh, but remember back on that year you said this. Don't do that. Death is all about starting afresh. So I think you've got to put all of that behind you and you've got to start again as if there's a whole new relationship. Now, that doesn't mean that you think what they've done, if they've done something terrible to you in the past, that doesn't mean you think it's all okay. That just means that once you've had a talk about that, you've cleared the air, you've got that out of the way, and you've decided that you want to keep on seeing that person, then you need to put that behind you. If you can't put that behind you, or if they can't, then you need to think about whether you really should be with that person. That's what I'm seeing in that card. So I know I was stumbling through my words a lot in this reading. I'm really sorry I did that. I had a big coughing fit before I started, and then I had to start this whole reading all over again and lay all the cards again and do all of that and kind of get into my little zone thing and then do all that. But I hope you understood all of that. I hope it was clear to you.